So, here we have Bulrathi Empire, the race that everybody hates in Master of Orion 2 because it's so weak with only ground combat bonus and high gravity world stuff. So, I'm glad to say that in the board game adaptation, they changed it a lot and Bulrathi is much more stronger and more versatile race than it was in the Master of Orion 2. So, Ursa is of course their homeworld, and it has one wood, one science, two production, and you can add one with the terraforming to the production of wood. And they have this unique empire card, Master Terraformers. So this is either a production or spend 1 to 3 credits and perform growth action. During this action, your uh, food is increased by 1 tier for every credit you have spent. So they kind of turn credit into a food. So they gain. Uh, this actually indicates the biology and chemistry action, to be clear. That icon here. During this action, your biology and chemistry is increased by 1 tier. So what does this mean? Uh, you can actually, during this action, gain this up by that amount, but only duration of this action. So it's kind of weird. You are spending coins to do one action here. So you can just kind of fool that you have terraforming. You can fool that you have solar enrichment. It's kind of weird action, I have to admit. And I'm not sure how to use it. I have played several times with Bulrathi, but I'm not exactly sure what is the strongest way to actually use the action. I guess it's for the terraforming. If you have, because you start with level 1, if you need terraforming for some reason, just spend 1 coin and you have the terraforming, boom, you are back to hydroponic farm. Just with 1 coin you were able to grow on planets with terraforming. So yeah, it's a kind of tricky action, to be honest. And Bulrathi start with quite balanced resource, 3-2-3-2, and they have this ecologist trait. If system has no buildings, all your production workers and food production workers that extend over its base population limits thanks to terraforming or advanced terraforming produce one additional resource. So if you are not building any buildings and you are using stuff that has the terraforming icon, those workers are worth additional resource. That's quite handy. And this is something that you don't have in the PC game, where Bulrathi is just a huge ground fighter army. Then we have the Ferocious, lose 4 unrest when you destroy another player's building or orbital. So this, of course, kind of tries to make you be the aggressive player and attack, because you can just take forced labor actions, smash other people, and reduce the unrest. So they are the aggressive race for sure. And they have this special invasion action with 6+ dice. You can destroy all buildings in the system. So they are trying to destroy your buildings. So they are not the nice guys. And of course, because they are Bulrathi, they have very good invasion. With just 3+, you can eliminate population or steal empire tokens. Combat is 5, it's same as it's most of the race. And they of course like the high gravity world and hate the low, and they have passive 1 credit income. And if you look at the technology charts, we have here word shaping, which is free action, spend 1 credit to remove a discovery tile from any of your systems. This is kind of weird. I don't know what the function is. Where did you want to? What's the situation you want to use this? Maybe if you want to take out the wormhole, it's kinda weird action, to be honest. And then they have this relativistic ballistics, which is the total destruction ability can be used during combat. So you can just attack a player and destroy their buildings, even if you are not going to win the fight and go into the ground fight. So that's always handy. So all this stuff is quite Bulrathi feeling because they are the war race, the aggressive race. So that's for sure typical for Bulrathi. And then we have on the engineering miniaturizing, which is the ecological stability still works in systems you own with single building. So you can still use this even if you have one building. So that opens a lot of different options how you want to play the Bulrathi, because with this you can actually build something like automated factories or hydroponic farms, and you still get this bonus, which is nice. And we have over here renewable energy. So that is replace your income ability with the following one. Gain 1 credit for every system you own with no building. So of course these fight against each other, but if you focus on here, you can get a lot of credits if you don't build any buildings. So Bulrathi really hates buildings, and a lot of stuff is focused on destroying those buildings or gaining some benefits from not having the buildings. And the ships, frigate is basic, so is the cruiser. But then we have the Titan, which has the glory in that when overcharged, the attack is 4 instead of 2, and when this ship loses its overcharge, it is destroyed. So it's kinda suicide ship, but it will hit like a truck with 4 dices. So it's a really funny ability. And then we have the Doomstar, which is very expensive, 15 production, but it's 6 and 8. So it's very tanky and it hits with 6 dices, and it has the Spoils of War ability. When this ship is destroyed by another player, that player gains 5 resources. So you don't really want to lose the Doomstar, but it's a heavy boy. It's a really tanky, really hard hitting Doomstar. So as you can see, it's still the same Bulrathi with invasion bonus stuff, but it has some other things you don't have in the PC game that is implied to the board game, which is nice and still quite flexible to play as any other race. There are some things that negate each other, but it's a lot of fun to play. It's a really nice change from the PC game. I like it. Bulrathi feels now more unique, more playable race, and I really love that. So yeah, that's all for Bulrathi, and thanks for watching. Bye.